As a teacher, do you have any goals for your students? I guess another way of saying it is, what can your students do to please you?
Yes, as a teacher, I have goal. Exactly the goal that my master had, my teacher had. Just one day before he died, he spoke 2 sentences. Serve the sages and devote your life to the mission of or the message of the sages. He said it in 2 words actually. ऋषियों की सेवा करो. Serve the seers, the great masters. When I asked him what are the instructions for me, the second thing he said, अपने विद्यार्थियों को अखंड प्यार देना. Give your unbound, infinite, unconditional love to your students. This is what, as a teacher, I wish. All of my friends, all of my students, all of those who love me, just simply please love others. Share the best you have without imposing yourself on them, without being preachy. Just give the best you have, just as you are inclined to give everything and take care of, give everything to your children, and love your children, exactly do to others. This is the, I wish anybody who comes in my company, anybody who studies with me, does to his students and other fellow beings. The thing is, what does it mean, ऋषियों की सेवा करो? Serve the masters, and the word rishi means the seer. There are people, or there have been people in the past, those who saw the truth in its fullness, in its perfection, in its clarity. And what that truth is, that there is a higher divinity in all of us. It is that divinity that guides us, provides nourishment to us. Contribute to this knowledge and message. Remind people that there is no actual reason for you to be so fearful in life. There is a guiding force in all of us. There is a force that provides all nourishment to us. And therefore, there is no reason to be sucked into this fear and uncertainty. Humanity today, as it has been always, but it's somewhat even more, is really stricken by a great deal of doubt, fear, and this doubt and fear leads us deeper and deeper into many other negative tendencies. On one hand, doubt and fear are there, and at the same time life goes on. So under the influence of doubt and fear, we still continue performing certain actions, and we continue striving, achieving, whatever seems to make sense. So what happens is, with a doubtful and fearful mind, we perform our actions, and the result is not always therefore as we wish to be. So we become disappointed, we become frustrated, and our own unfulfilled desires, lead us to anger. So now we have one more thing in addition to fear and doubt, that is anger. Now it creates such great confusion in mind. Mind is already affected by this anger, doubt, and fear, and yet we must live our life. So we perform our actions which are not so healthy, which are not so kind, which are not so loving, which are not so compassionate. Deep down we know that we are hurting and harming ourselves and hurting and harming others. So that creates an environment of kind of guilt. And we begin to condemn ourselves. We repeat those actions again and we feel guilty about it. And when our actions become even a little bit somewhat more, what you call unkind and harmful, then we regret. So it becomes a very dull, it creates very kind of gloomy, dark environment deep inside us. And we begin to live in that dark and gloomy, environment. And that takes us to a unique kind of experience of grief and sorrow, pain. And this is what my master meant, that ऋषियों की सेवा करो. Serve those who know this truth so well, and serving them means broadcast this message in as efficient, loving, kind, and effective manner as possible. As a teacher, this is what I wish to do. As a teacher, this is what I wish to see, in my students and friends and colleagues, that let us do something so that we have a clear mind, we have a joyful heart, we have a purposeful life, and we have an environment which does not afford this dark and gloomy kind of dull, feeling, but rather, illuminates our life, and in that kind of luminous state of mind and heart, we find that inner joy that is in us, and that is an integral part of us. So as a teacher, that's what I wish, that I continue as long as I'm alive, and I wish that other fellow beings and my friends and students do the same.